Well, the Madlanga Commission continues with a cross-examination of suspended component head for organised crime, Major General Richard Shibiri. Let's go to Sakina and Canny that are at the Commission to bring us up to date with the latest. Sakina, good morning.
Morning, Leanne, and welcome back. So, Canny Maphanga with me again. Canny, if we could just take it further now with regard to Major General Shibiri being back today for cross-examination. I was speaking to Dr. Matebula about some of the gaps that will be probed today, because there were, for me at least, already some glaring ones.
Of red flags. If we start at the loan, for example, that he's at pains to try and convince the Commission that it was above board and that it was for the payment of the motor vehicle repairs and that he was under financial pressure. Already, you paying it back does not take away the fact that there was a payment from an alleged cartel member to you. And from the pattern that emerges, that conduct affirms what has already been somewhat established by the Commission, is that Vusimuzi Matlala doesn't just send money for nothing. He doesn't just target these high-ranking SABC officials for nothing. There's a specific reason or benefit that must be established by the Commission, and hopefully during cross-examination they'll be able to extract why he sent that payment. Because if you look at all the payments that he sends, it's very similar to Shibiri's, is that there's always a third party that must receive the so-called funds.
Similar to CBA.
Similar to Brigadier Macheng, is that there was a butchery that had to receive the funds. If it is above board, why is the money not coming directly to you? Number two, Vusimuzi Matlala is not a financial services provider. If you were in financial pressure and you needed a loan, why didn't you just go to a bank? Why did it have to come from this particular individual? And paying the money back or showing that it was used for that particular purpose doesn't change the question of whether or not it was a benefit. He was assisting you allegedly with this motor vehicle repairs, and based on the patterns emerging from the Commission, the Commission must now establish why. What was the alleged benefit? In the context that you're dealing with someone who's an alleged cartel member, allegedly dealing with drugs, and you are ahead of organised crime. What exactly was the benefit there? So it's not going to be enough to state that you know this person and you got the funds and that you paid it back. The intention and the motivation behind the conduct is really what is at focus here before the Commission, and he has to clear that red flag. There's also testimony by Shibiri which will contradict his peers who sought to distance themselves completely from alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala. But I think him being at the engagement party of Sibia's son and affirming that he met Kat Matlala there runs contrary to the version that Kat was just picking up his wife from according to Sibia, and that he's not someone that is known by these high-ranking SABC officials. He was there long enough for them to have a conversation and learn about the alleged financial pressure and also assist in the alleged financial pressure.
He found Kat there.
Absolutely, and that also links up with the messages on Sergeant Nkosi's phone, where Sergeant Nkosi reaches out to Shibiri to find out where Kat is.
Now, speaking of Sergeant Nkosi, again, his role in all of this and where he fits into it, because he is very low ranking compared to these generals for whom, you know, he seems to be running errands in the main force, Sibia. But, you know, again, let's talk about him a little bit more again, very briefly.
To me, Sergeant Nkosi plays a similar role or a similar alleged role as Brown Mokgotsi in the context of the minister, but instead he's doing this for high-ranking SABC officials because, again, Kat Matlala doesn't communicate directly. There's always something in the middle that he must go through before that alleged transaction or engagement takes place. And that is where Sergeant Nkosi comes in. It seems that he was a critical point man, if you could put it that way, for
a conduit.
Exactly, for alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala to be contacted, whether it be from the other side or to communicate with the alleged high-ranking SABC officials in these alleged shadowy dealings. And that must all be read within the context is that this takes place at a time where he has this multi-million rand SABC contract and he understands that it's at risk, this particular contract, and he needs individuals to protect him from that risk. So all of these interactions, because it lines up, Shibiri says there's a huge gap where they actually don't communicate, and then conveniently they meet again at this particular residence.
And money
of Sevilla.
is asked, or I don't know how that money was solicited or not, whether it was a loan or a bribe, or all of that will be ventilated, of course. But Canny, speaking about that multi-million rand contract, it's interesting how we have focused hitherto basically on the Cat Matala role in that. But that company, I'm sure there needs to be more said about that, but we'll leave it there for today. And at least for me, Canny Maphanga will be here throughout the day, and it's going to be another interesting day here at the Madlanga Commission. Day 72, Major General Shibiri will be on the stand again. It's back to you, Leanne.
All right, thanks so much to both Sakina and Canny for that update.